Hello down here.
Hey everybody, this is Atticus the TheDeathMetaller, and as you can tell by this new haircut, we are diving down on a very special episode of the TheDeathMetaller Reviews. Here in this episode, I am going to be reviewing the band that changed my life, Dimmu Borgir, and their recent release, Eonian. And as always, with every TheDeathMetaller Reviews episode, let's go on a little backstory now, shall we? There is always that one special metal band to every metalhead, not only hooking them for life, but showing the world that metal was global. And to a 15-year-old Atticus the TheDeathMetaller back in 2007, it was the Norwegian symphonic black metal band Dimmu Borgir. Formed in 1993 in Oslo, Norway, the band deprived its name from a volcanic formation in Iceland, Dimmu Borgir, which meant dark cities in Old Norse. They, along with other great black metal acts from Norway, were solely responsible for marking Norway on the map for their black metal acts. If my state of Florida was the death metal mecca of the metal world, then Norway was the black metal mecca of the metal world. According to Bradley Torreno, Dimmu Borgir has been strongly influenced by black metal powerhouses like Darkthrone, Mayhem, Bathory, Emperor, Immortal, as well as other metal acts such as Venom, Celtic Frost, and Iron Maiden. The band became more progressive and symphonic through the years. Many black metal purists consider the band's second album, Stormblast, to be the act's last true contribution to black metal. Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, Dimmu Borgir's third album, distinguished itself in two important areas. Firstly, forging their native language for English, and secondly, for its dramatic increase in synthesizer content. For me, getting exposed to Dimmu Borgir was quite an experience, given that I was a good Christian boy at the start of my high school life. Not only was I tempted by the awesome satanic temptation that is Dimmu Borgir, I was open to a world where there were more metal bands to my heart's desire in the summer of 2007. And I will indeed say, without Dimmu Borgir, I would not be the metalhead that I am today. And with that said, let's just jump right the flip into Eonian now, shall we? Eonian was a collaborative effort with the band Dimmu Borgir as well as the engineer Jens Bogren. Jens Bogren, of course, is known for working with such acts like Moonspell, Creator, Arch Enemy, Rotting Christ, Catatonia, Opeth. But I will indeed say that their recent release, Eonian, didn't have a lot of good reception as a individual who absolutely loves Dimmu Borgir. I would indeed say that this wasn't a really good release. Like, for instance, Steel US of Metal Storm went to say that it's basically just Nightwish with Emperor Palpatine on vocals, and, you know, the choirs tend to be irritating, which I don't disagree with him on that, honestly. And I know some people are going to be pissed off at me for mentioning this guy, but Axl Rosenberg of Metal Sucks, yes, I fucking know that guy, and Metal Sucks. But you know, this is my job doing reviews, so I have to state Axl Rosenberg himself. Yes, Dimmu are a symphonic band, but while Death Cult Armageddon used the symphony to paint soaring visions of the apocalypse and northern winds ripping your face off, Eonian seems content to use it as a go-to gimmick that does nothing for the atmosphere of the album other than corrode it. He then cited the album as too happy and said that if he wanted happy, he would go watch The Wiggles. Which, I mean, I don't disagree with Axl Rosenberg there, but I mean, you know, most people really did not like Eonian, which is fine by me. It's their opinion and I respect that. But for me, as a lover of the band Dimmu Borgir since 2007, since I've been listening to these guys for such a long time, I will indeed say that this was indeed not one of their best albums. I mean, like Death Cult Armageddon's The Serpentine Offering, For Altid, Stormblast, in my opinion. Some really great albums off of Dimmu Borgir. But I will indeed say that Eonian is the album after a 7-year hiatus. I'm just really glad that they're still around, still making music, and that they're still alive as a band, in my opinion. It's just the album to me where it's just like they're still making music, they're still active, and that's what I like about that. But as far as, like, you know, being like one of the best, not even that close. So with that said, let us go down to review a couple of songs that I liked off of Eonian. Now shall we? The first track that I'm going to be reviewing is the song Interdimensional Summit, and of course it was the first single off of Eonian. I remembered when I saw the whole hype behind Interdimensional Summit, I was absolutely fucking hyped that Dimmu Borgir was making new content, that a new album was being released this year. But when I finally heard it, the hype was a little bit mixed. I pretty much felt that Interdimensional Summit was basically Dimmu Borgir 2.0. Now, it's basically the band's self-titled song off of their previous release, Abrahadabra of 2010, which personally for me, I thought that song was really goddamn epic. It felt like you're on like a icy adventure onto Dimmu Borgir song, Dimmu Borgir. But Interdimensional Summit was kind of like Dimmu Borgir, but a little bit 2.0 and a little bit tame and weak. But there was a lot more choir singing, which overtook all of Shagrith's vocals. But the solo off of Galder is what I really love, and it also has that really groovy vibe, which I loved off of this track. I mean, it was a decent track off of the album, which I fairly enjoyed. The next track that I'm going to be reviewing is the third track off of the album, Etheric. I hope I've pronounced it right. I would indeed say that it is a very decent symphonic black metal song. It comes off very chill, then starts off strong, and then it comes off with the vibe at the beginning of the lyrics, at the first verse, with a sort of Satyricon vibe. That's just how I think of it when I listen to Satyricon. I haven't listened to Satyricon in quite a while, but they have that particular way in how they make the songs, and I feel that that was used into Etheric. But I also love the very end of the song with the hard, rapid double bass of the drums, along with the choir going on. Which, I mean, yeah, the choir is used 99.9% of the time in this album, just like the saxoning of Where Owls Know My Name by Rivers of Nile, but I will say it worked well with this song right here. So, and how I view it as like in how a tyrannical fascist dictatorship has finally gripped a nation. No, I'm not talking about Trump's administration. No. Just stop right there. So, have a listen.
The word that has been spoken through time and time again is the light that inhabits our voice. The light that...
The next song I'm going to review, I feel extremely conflicted. And yes, I am talking about the song The Council of Wolves and Snakes. Now, my initial first reaction when I first heard the second single, which was this song right here. This was my honest initial reaction. Because I was literally confused on how I should feel about this song. Should I hate this song? Or should I, still defend this band regardless? And it really conflicted with me. And yet somehow, in a weird masochistic sense, I kind of like this song. The reasons why I like the tribal feel to the beginning portion of the song. But then at like the very end part and the climax of the song is what really killed it for me, because it changed from like a very tribal satanic black metal song setting to a more back to the symphonic death black metal side, which was really conflicting for me. Unlike bands like Rivers of Nile's recent album, when they changed certain styles of metal, they did it very well and very calculated. But I will indeed say this: Council of Wolves and Snakes was far better than Doris. Should be fired! But yeah, that's my initial thoughts onto Council of Wolves and Snakes. Like it or dislike it, I will indeed say it was a pretty weird song, confusing song off of Eonian. Kind of like it with a little bit of scruff over here. Aside from me shaving just recently with that musical montage, let us review our next track. The next track that I'm going to be reviewing is I Am Sovereign, and it is considered one of my favorite tracks off of Eonian. Now basically it's the typical Dimmu Borgir, traditional Dimmu Borgir symphonic black metal track that I do indeed love off of Dimmu Borgir, and it really comes off as, to me, the rise of an evil monarch within a kingdom. Like Joffrey.
I am the king!
Aside from all that, I think it's a really good song that I do like. I think it's very entertaining, so have a listen. Nothing else to say about this song. I will indeed say is not one of Dimmu Borgir's best albums. Am I saying it's one of their most terribly horrible releases? No. Am I saying it's one of their best releases? Absolutely not. What I'm trying to say here is that Eonian is just a decent album that Dimmu Borgir brought out. It's the type of release that very comfortably after following the band for some time. You just know that they're still active and they're still making music. That's just from my point of view. If you hate it, go right ahead and hate it. If you love it, go ahead and love it. I honestly don't care. But as far as I know, is that it's not one of their best albums, like for instance Death Cult Armageddon that got me into them, Stormblast, and also Abrahadabra, which was another decent release off of Dimmu Borgir, amongst other great releases of the past off of this band. I will indeed say that this was an okay release, just to, let me know that they're still alive, active, and still bringing out some good music. So without a doubt, and I have to say this, Eonian, unfortunately, gets a 6 out of 10 for this review. So, that concludes this review off of the Death Metal reviews. Hopefully I will crank up more reviews this year, but as far as I know, I got a lot of special stuff in store for this year regarding to this channel, so stick around. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus, the Death Metaller. Hope you liked this video, subscribe to my channel, links are in the description below. Keep it metal, and have an excellent day, everybody. Cheers!